Welcome everyone as you're joining us now. It's 1:30 Eastern. Hello everyone, I'm Amy Lassen, and this is the Allegiance Way Daily Pivot. Today, we're going to talk about how you handle the situation when your buyer or your seller says they're not sure that now is the right time for them. They have concerns about the market, they have a life situation. What do we say? These are pretty extraordinary times. So today we're going to explore all of the options that you have and that they have, and how you can follow up with them in the future, and then talk about all the value that we're going to be bringing to you here on the Allegiance Way Daily Pivot every single day. So, with the topic at hand, we're talking about what happens when your client wants to cancel or maybe not go forward. So first things first, I'm going to talk about something that I'm going to bring up many times in future classes and also in future daily pivots. And that is, we need to ask more questions. All of us, all realtors could do such a better job if we would simply ask more questions when our clients express a concern or a desire. So first things first, let's be very clear about what it is they're saying, right? First thing that we want to do is affirm their position. If you have a buyer who says, I'm not sure now is the right time for me to buy, you say, oh, I appreciate you having that thought or concern, or thank you for telling me, let's talk about that. So affirm their position and then pursue it further. Don't assume you understand based on a first comment what is truly under that. So there are so many things that we can learn by asking more questions. Forgive me as I refer to my notes. We here at RE/MAX Allegiance did quite a bit of work to make sure we brought you a thorough presentation today. So we want to make sure that we're looking to identify exactly what's going on for them. You can't be the answer to someone's prayers unless you know what they're truly praying for. So ask a lot of questions. No matter what the objection or the issue, there are usually way more questions we could ask than we do. So let's just dig in here. If your buyer or seller says they have concerns, or maybe even they've already made a decision. They've already made a decision that they want to wait. Here are some things that we can do. First of all, let's stay in good rapport and be persuasive by first affirming and then asking. So I gave you some examples already of saying, thank you for telling me. I appreciate you sharing that. I appreciate you being aware. Let's talk more. So affirm them and then make a pivot to asking them more questions. Seek first to understand. Really find out what's on their minds, right? I always say go 3 deep, and that's not a perfect number, but don't ask one clarifying question. Keep asking clarifying questions until you can't think of any more. Treat them like you would your best friend. If your best friend just said to you, I don't know if now's the right time for me to buy a house. Don't panic, you're the realtor. I know this is how we all get paid, but very calmly say, oh, tell me about that. Tell me what you're thinking, and help them explore their options. Ask very open-ended questions and really let them spill and tell you where the thoughts are coming from. Acknowledge their concerns. It's important that we not argue with them, no matter what it is. Let's say they came up with something that you thought was maybe a little over the top. It's important that we not argue with them. Just say, I appreciate your concerns. Let's talk about what your options are right now, or let's talk about what your options are in this market. So never argue with them, even if you think they're a little off base. Affirm, validate their feelings, and then lay out options. Always work the problem, right? Do your best not to be emotional. It's never fun when our deals fall apart or when clients decide to back burner themselves. So be a real problem solver. Then when we offer up all the various solutions, we're so much more believable, right? Someone tells me they have concerns about buying in this market. We ask what's going on with that, what are the reasons there, and then we offer solutions. And we're going to go into a lot of nitty-gritty solutions in just a minute. But no matter what, please don't have commission breath. We can't make this about us. If our buyers or sellers decide now is not the time for them, if ultimately they don't want to move forward, we have a plan for that as well. But whether you're helping them find a solution for their concern, or you're agreeing with them that waiting is a good idea, don't make it about you, right? Don't have commission breath. Has everybody heard that term? Yeah, not attractive. I know that none of us get paid if they don't buy or sell. I get that. Real estate agents get paid when people buy and sell. But the truth is, we get paid long-term and for the rest of our careers by providing extraordinary service. And part of your extraordinary service is being a problem solver, an authentic listener, an authentic consultant, right? You need to lay out the options that they have and they will come back to you. Charlie Bengal has said recently in calls that we've put out to everyone at RE/MAX Allegiance and our community beyond, he has said it's not like a bar. Maybe that's, you know, we're not picking on bars, but when somebody doesn't drink that day, that's lost revenue to that business. And it's hard to make that back. For those of us whose buyers or sellers may go on hold, and they may not, we have a few solutions here. But if your buyers or sellers go on hold or want to wait or have a certain financial issue that can be solved later, that is money that will still come back to you. You may be a heck of a lot busier later in the year, but that business has not gone away. It's just put out into the future. So no commission breath, be a genuine listener, really affirm them, and look for their solutions. So let's talk about what some of those might be. Actually, I would like to talk about what if it's not the right time for them. We'll talk about solutions for staying in the market in just a minute. But what if we decide, you and they, that it really is a good time for them to take it off the market? And here's a couple of reasons. They actually lost their job. That could be a super legit reason, right? They or their job is on hold and they don't currently have income. It's fair. It's fair for them to take a breather. Perhaps they have a seriously compromised immune system and being exposed or a potential exposure to the virus is just not an option for them. That really makes sense. So look at, do they have a really legitimate reason for wanting to neither buy nor sell at this time? Those could be important. And if that is the case, and you both agree that it's time to wait, then you need a follow-up plan. So first things first, affirm them that they're making a good decision, and then create an action plan. You know that always be setting the next appointment? Set that next appointment with them, which is maybe, I'll call you in a week, or I'll stay in touch. Make sure they know that this relationship has not ended, that it is ongoing. And then add them to your touch plan. What is the daily touch plan you're following now for your entire sphere of influence and your pipeline of business? So add them to your touch plan, create that plan for staying in touch with them over time, do those thoughtful things. Here's a couple of practical things to keep in mind. If it's a listing and the two of you have decided that the listing needs to come off the market, couple tips. In different markets, different MLSs have different definitions for withdrawn, canceled, expired, that sort of thing. So if withdrawing it rather than canceling it is an option, that might help. Speak to your broker about what makes most sense. No matter what, you might want to put a few notes in MLS, a few comments to other agents who may see it in the future, that this client is intending to relist their home with you, and if they have any comments, if they have any questions, to direct those to you and not to the client. Then you might want to give your client, your seller, a script for handling those calls that may come. So when agents start calling to say, you know, I could do a better job, do you want to buy or sell, that they have a script to handle those calls from those eager beaver agents who may be looking for some expired opportunities. Then you want to give them regular updates and stay in touch. So that would be my suggestion for if it's serious, it's a really good idea for them to stay off the market. There's a couple of tips, but it may not be. There are plenty of people who have uncertainty right now, and there are lots of conversations we could have and problem solving that we could do for the clients who aren't certain, but they're not certain they don't want to. People who are eager to buy, people who are eager to sell, people who really did have this in their hearts and their dreams this year. I really want to move. I really want to buy a house. Tell me, Amy, do I have good options? Is this a good idea? Help me out. So what we want to do first, ask a lot of questions and find out if they have a super important reason for needing to be out of the market. And if they just have concerns, let's address those concerns. So here are a couple of things to consider. There is still a lot of demand for homes. Most of us are in markets that have been so intense in the demand, right? So many buyers and so few homes to show them. So there is still a lot of pent-up demand in most of our markets. So let sellers know that. If they're considering selling their home, they're just not sure if it's a good time, you can show them the pace that things are moving. We're still seeing multiple offers. We're still seeing high prices. So just really workshop it with your seller about whether this is the right thing for them. What specifically are their concerns? Is it a good time to sell? Show them the numbers. Don't say, yeah, it's great. It sounds like you're making things up. Okay, show them the numbers. Show them that we're still getting multiple offers. Show them that managing the showings and the virtual open houses will be its own healthy challenge because there is a lot of interest in a home just like theirs. So that would be something to offer up to sellers. The other thing is interest rates. When interest rates are low, and they still are, when interest rates are low and attractive, it creates a bigger pool of buyers for the homes, right? More buyers can afford a home than they would be able to if the rate were higher. So low interest rates benefit both sellers and buyers, makes it more possible for buyers to afford homes, opens up a bigger pool of buyers to sellers so that they have potentially more offers. So make it clear, still a lot of demand for homes, and interest rates still make it attractive for both buyers and for sellers. Now for buyers, and this is a maybe, you have to look at your own markets. It has been so competitive. I wish this was interactive so you guys could be nodding at me. It has been so competitive for buyers to get their offers accepted. No? A lot of us have seen that you've had a buyer write offer after offer, do their best, write their cleanest, strongest offers, and still not be strong enough, still have the property go to someone else, and just be absolutely heartbroken. So the truth of the matter is, with a little bit of a shift, there are some opportunities for buyers that there weren't a month ago. We are seeing in just a few cases where maybe there were only 2 offers instead of 8, and the buyer had this much more of a shot at getting their offer accepted. So when buyers say, gosh, I don't know, is this a good time? You can talk to them about the fact that rates are still attractive and there is a little bit less competition and they may have a better shot at getting their offer accepted. In my market, renting a comparable property tends to be quite a bit more expensive than paying the mortgage on that same property. So if your client is concerned about value, you can look at that. When in doubt, consult with their lender. Have them consult with their lender and look at what does the affordability look like? What is their payment going to be? Sometimes we have buyers fixated on a price of a home. You know, I'm qualified for this and this is what I'm comfortable with, and they don't even know what that works out to as a payment. So make sure, again, that you're presenting all options, you're workshopping it with them, collaborate with their lender, and give them the best possible advice around affordability and timing. All right, solutions to really common problems. Some sellers are hesitant right now because they're not sure they want exposure to the virus by having people in and out of their home, right? I think we're all seeing that as, wait, what do I do? If people are going in and out, what should they be touching? So let's talk about hands-free listings, shall we? I have a couple of recommendations. And one thing that you can do right away to handle the concern of a potential seller who says, I really do want to list my home, I'm just not sure how to handle that part of it. Be prepared to share your hands-free protocol, okay? Don't just tell them you've got some ideas. Don't just tell them, don't worry about it, I've got this, it's not that big a deal. Be prepared to show them your hands-free protocol. And I have some super specific suggestions. So make sure that the property is as clean as possible for showings. You can even limit showings. This is something that's happening. Some of my agent friends are saying, you know, we're going to have showings for these 2 days. And certain markets are hot enough that that's adequate to say, we're going to have showings for these 2 days. The agent is there to monitor. They wipe everything down. They're the ones to open the door, and they make it clear that it's hands-free. I have an agent friend who monitors all the showings, and everybody has to put their hands in their pockets. Hands in their pockets, everybody, it's a hands-free showing. Make sure you are the one who opened every single door with a glove, with a sanitary wipe. If there are things in cabinets that people would want to see, you can either leave that open or feature cards have a whole new value and a whole new meaning. You could put little feature cards anywhere that there might be something that people want to see. Maybe it says, these are soft close drawers, or these are not soft close drawers, you don't need to check. Make it clear that they don't need to be touching things as they go in and out, and you can get a lot of looks from a lot of motivated buyers and get your seller's home under contract relatively straightforwardly without a lot of exposure. So make sure that you have the plan for this. The other thing would be, don't just tell them, don't just show them your checklist, show them your work. And I'm actually prepared to do something kind of silly. So I have a friend who sent a picture to his seller so they could see that he was cleaning the lockbox and he had gloves on, and he sent that to the buyer who's planning to show the property that day. He had very specific instructions for the buyer's agent who had that showing, step by step for what they should do, and then a picture of him doing it and preparing the home so that they would know, I'm now washing my hands. So make sure this is for the seller who is motivated to sell and concerned that maybe there isn't a good plan for how to do it safely and with as many sanitary processes in place as possible. Make sure that you do it, okay? Show them all the ways that you can manage that. The other things that you can do is to send a short video to any buyer's agents showing them your protocol. You can put those instructions in the MLS to buyer's agents who are planning to show. I saw instructions this week. An agent had a questionnaire, and I would skip this. This is a recommendation of mine. Their questionnaire said, ask everyone that you're planning to show if they've been out of the country in the last 14 days, if they have a cough, if they have a fever. I don't think there's any point in that. We don't know if we've been exposed. We don't. So I don't think the questions are helpful. I think we need to follow the same sanitary protocols regardless. We need to just assume that exposure is possible, and we need to make sure that we don't transmit anything through touch. The other thing is, when you're showing properties, you can keep your distance respectfully, keep your distance from your buyers, really respect the 4 to 6, 10 foot. You can open the door, you can step aside, you can let them in. That would be a way to have safe showings. So customize everything to the client's needs, right? I've given suggestions, but don't be too quick to jump in with these when the seller says, I'm concerned. Don't go, and just slap them with the things that you have in mind. Ask more questions. I have a friend right now who listed a property for a woman who feels that she is in that high risk age category. She's in that high risk bracket, and she was uncomfortable with the thought of exposure, but she absolutely wanted to move forward and list her home. So they did do that day-long sort of hands-free open. They really did a lot of promotion prior. They got a lot of agents informed about the quality of this home, a lot of sort of preview looks, a lot of online. And we are going to do different daily pivots on how you do your online marketing, but this is a huge part of it. When your client says, I'm not sure, you need to have a plan that can make them sure, right? So tough to fit all that in our first 30-minute daily pivot, but having a step-by-step plan, not only for how the showings themselves and the property itself will be handled, but how the property will be marketed. I've had agents ask me, is it tactless? Is it tasteless to do a coming soon? Absolutely not. I think it's very important that you say, for those who have been eager for a home like this, we want to give you every opportunity to know about it. Here is our walkthrough video. Here is our interview with a specialist on a certain component. Here is our interactive live virtual open house. Promote it and promote it and promote it and promote it, and then control the window of showings. These are options, by the way. If you're thinking, no, I would never do it that way, that's fine. These are all options, and each of us is in a market that is a little bit different. I coach clients all over the United States, and I know realtors who are kind of shut down, and then I know a lot who are busier than ever. They've had a crazy week this week and last week, and they have a lot going on. So you take the tips here that work for you, but make sure that you have a plan to present to your seller when they say, what's your strategy? How can you help me get through this at this time? How can you get me still top dollar? Is this a good time to sell? What if I wait? So know the stats, know what's going on in your market, know the opportunities, and then have a hands-free protocol and an extraordinary marketing vision. And we're going to help you with all of that in coming shows. So for our buyers, let's think about that. Different situations, different objections that need to be handled there. Perhaps they're thinking that, again, they're wondering about exposure. Should I be out and about? Should I be looking at homes? And you can make it clear to them that they will be asked to touch nothing. They will be encouraged not to touch anything. They will ride in a separate car. You will bring all the things. Bring the wipes, bring the, bring Pine Sol. I don't care. Have the hand sanitizer, have the gloves, have all the things, the booties, right? Slip on, slip off. Be prepared to give them an experience that makes them feel comfortable, and assure the listing agent that you've done so, all right? So with buyers, if they have concerns and they say, well, I don't know, I don't know that I want to be exposed. Walk them through how you show homes and ask them how they think about that, right? Always go 3 deep on your questions and make sure that you've truly identified their concerns. Maybe a member of their family is at high risk and they just feel like they cannot take any chances in bringing that home. You need to know that. So then you want to think about making sure that if you show a buyer, it was the house that they really, really needed to see. And I think we could all do a better job of this. Prepping the buyer, making sure the buyer has done thorough due diligence prior to even getting in the car. And there is so much we could do. So if the listing agent has not provided those really high level, really in-depth virtual walkthroughs, maybe it's appropriate that you could do that. You could ask the listing agent if you could create one of those really detailed video tours, or you could do a live FaceTime type showing if that would work better. Even before that, we want to make sure that the buyers are doing all their due diligence. If they're going to be concerned about schools and if this is the right school district for them, have them do their homework. If they have specific concerns about HOA, get the HOA docs before you put them in the car. Walkability score, send them the link to Google Earth. Check it out, check it out, check it out. We all know those crazy clients who after they see it, they say, oh, well, I didn't want it because it had a 2-car garage. Well, all of that could have been known before you got there. And maybe that's a ridiculous example. But if the property is backing something that they're going to object to when they arrive, give them every opportunity to know that this house is either not for them or is really, really a good option long before you get in the car. So do a lot of pre-showing due diligence and encourage your buyer to do it. Send them the links. Don't ever give them advice about whether the schools are good or the HOA is going to meet their criteria. You give them the information they need to make that decision for themselves. Okay, so then you may also, and this is just an above and beyond, you may offer a professional cleaning as a closing gift. You can say to the buyer that this house will have been absolutely sanitized prior to their moving in, and that gift is on you. Your local closing company or cleaning company has their own protocols for protecting themselves in doing something like that, and that could be a really thoughtful gift. Now, unique situation with an objection is, what if they're already under contract? What if your buyer, what if your seller is currently under contract and they're having doubts? Well, we just need to look at the situation, right? Is it fear-driven? Is it very, very valid? Have they lost a job? Do they just have concerns? Or are there some technical hiccups with the transaction itself? Speak to your brokers, make sure that you know all of the legal options that your clients have. Remember, contracts are binding documents. It's not just that you bounce, right? Changed my mind, I'm out, right? Not necessarily that simple. Quite a few of our states have offered up COVID-19 addenda and clauses that can be written into offers that have certain protections for buyers. With all clauses and addenda that protect buyers, we have to think about whether or not that makes it that the offer would not be accepted by a seller. But look at your options. If there is an actual technical issue, you may need to extend your dates and deadlines, right? That can work. be collaborative, be a problem solver. I have had so many wonderful experiences in my career of thinking that a deal was blowing up on me, and I reached out to the other agent and they're like, well, what about this? And we just workshopped it together. So call the lender, call the settlement company, extend dates and deadlines, figure out the things that you need to do to make it work well for the buyer and seller. Most people committed to this path because it's what they wanted. They wanted to buy, they wanted to sell, they want this to work out. So be a problem solver, get the help of the people around you, and extending dates and deadlines is an option. All right, I want to leave you with concrete actions. All right, concrete actions. We have got to be the ones being the source of the solution here and doing positive things every day. So here is a suggestion of things. Stay in touch. Stay in touch with everyone in your pipeline. All right, now it goes without saying, stay in touch with your sphere, and that's a whole nother call. But stay in touch with your pipeline. If these people are considering buying this year, if they're considering selling this year, or they were in the midst of doing so right now, no matter how it shifts, they're stay under contract, they go on the back burner, they're still looking, stay in contact, all right? Keep them in the know about anything that changes in helpful ways. You don't need to be the source of drama, right? You don't need to be the source of uncertainty. Share with them the things that you're learning about staying sane in this crazy time. And this is just including them in your sphere of influence marketing, all right? So here at RE/MAX Allegiance, we are providing tips like this to our agents every single week about, like, it's the, so you're newly a homeschool parent, or, you know, how do you work from home? How do you stay sane? How do you stay focused? How do you restructure your time? All these types of tips and tricks that we're having to learn for ourselves, we can share with our spheres of influence and pipeline. So give them the good stuff, and then have a daily touch plan. This is in your actions. Have a daily touch plan. Get up in the morning, remember that you're still employed, you have a job, and follow your daily touch plan. Make sure you're touching people in appropriate ways, you're keeping them up to date, and you're giving them the good things. Then continue to grow your pipeline. No joke. Now, I'm not saying aggressive lead gen, dialing for dollars, you want to buy or sell, you want to buy or sell. No, 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 absolutely not. But stay in touch with all the people who know, like, and trust you to be their real estate resource, and be future pacing, right? They wanted to buy, they may newly want to buy. They think there's opportunities, perhaps. They want to buy, they want to sell. Keep growing your pipeline and treat them appropriately. They want to take action now. They have a lot of questions now. Deal with that. They're thinking fall might be a good time. Wonderful. Keep them in the loop. Keep them in your touch plan. I want to offer a couple of don'ts. I think it's important that if people are a little fragile and opinionated, if they argue with you at any point in your communication, if our clients have strong opinions one way or another, and I've heard a lot of opinions, don't argue with them. I just don't think it serves us, okay? Our opinions aren't really helpful. I don't think we should try to persuade people that we know something, and here's why. They have to choose for themselves. That's really true, right? It's not our transaction, it's not our lives. We have got to inform them with the most objective data possible and encourage them to make wise choices. Our opinions are not helpful in that. We may think that we know something and it could change. Like, you might say, yeah, but Amy, this one thing is absolutely true, and it could change. Always, this is just good practice in general for being a realtor. It's good to be careful to curb your opinions. Sometimes we get a little mouthy. All of us have opinions. Be really, really careful. Things are changing. Even the experts are struggling a little bit to really grab onto what is certain. So I really strongly encourage you, don't disagree with your clients. Don't be argumentative, and please don't try to persuade them that you know something. You might not. And we don't want to hurt feelings. And sometimes people have strong political and social beliefs. I think it's wise to recognize that we are not experts in this, and provide them with every viable option that you do know, and empower them to make healthy choices. My little don't for the day. All right. Items we are prepared to give you. So I dreamed this up this morning, so bear with me that these things do not exist yet, but they will in the next handful of days. Number one, a script that your seller can use to handle calls that might come in if their home is taken off the market, okay? Here at the Diligence Way, we're going to provide you with a script for them. Wording to put in the MLS. What might you put in agent remarks or whatever it's called in your particular marketplace to inform agents who are curious, gee, should I go after this listing? Should I reach out to the seller that would say, nope, my client is still interested in selling their home at a later date. Please contact me for more information. And the third thing is a hands-free listing checklist. This is the cleaning protocol, all the things that you're going to promise to do for your seller and for potential buyers and buyers agents to make sure that it is a positive, hands-free process. We're going to provide all three of those to you at theallegianceway.com. Theallegianceway.com is a remarkable resource for a lot of different things, but right now in this time, whenever we roll things out on the Daily Pivot, they will be on theallegianceway.com under the pivot button. So feel free to take advantage of those. Parting shots. I want to say, don't be lazy. Do your own due diligence. Seriously. Explore all options with your client and let them choose for themselves. And be resourceful, be a problem solver. Always work the problem. Don't get sucked into the drama yourself, all right? Feel free to post in the comments, post any additional tips you want to share. This is a moving target and a lot of us are coming up with new, fresh ideas. This is a community for sharing. Be a part of the Diligence Way, share your best practices, and feel free also to make requests of topics. If you're saying, wow, I heard Amy say that there will be a sphere of influence marketing plan for Pivot. Where is that? When is that? Anything you want. That was one I suggested, but if you have one in mind, please put that in the comments also. And here's my parting shot. In these uncertain times, we all have an opportunity to improve our skills and improve our systems, and we at the Diligence Way are here to help you with that. So focus on what you can make better, and we'll get through this together. It's going to be a powerful opportunity for all of us, and we can come out on the other side. So hope to see you all tomorrow. Bye.